Okay, so let's get a little bit more practice with example 1. So in example 1, we're going to be factoring letter A and letter B. So in the very first one, we have a sum of perfect cubes, and you can recognize that 64 is a perfect cube since 4 cubed gives us 64. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to break this up into the cubes they were before we got 64 and x cubed. Obviously x cubed is going to stay the same. It was given to us as a sum, so the plus stays in the middle. And 64 rewritten as a cube is 4 to the 3rd power. Once I do that, I circle out my cubes, and that's what I'm going to start with, x plus 4. My symbols, or not necessarily my symbols, but my pattern for setting up our factor is our first group has 2 dashes and my second group has 3 dashes. Again, in my first 2 dashes, it's just the values that I have that I circled out from my original cube. My first guy again is my first dash squared, which is x, so I square my x. My middle dash is just the product of my 2 dashes from my first grouping. 4 times x gives me 4x. And my last dash is going to be 4 squared, which is 16. I started off with a plus. That gives me a minus here, and my last term is always a plus. Should be my answer for example 1. Example 1, letter B, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to first start off by breaking down all of our terms into their perfect cubes. 8 before it was cubed, we know that to be 2 to the 3rd power. P to the 3rd power is already written in that form, minus Q to the 3rd power. Go ahead and circle out all of those cubes, and we're left with 2P minus Q. Same thing we're going to do before. We get dash, 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 dash. The entire thing that's circled out goes in my first parentheses. My next group, my first guy is always my first dash squared. So remember, since I have 2 terms here, I have to square both of them. So 2 squared gives me 4. P squared gives me P squared. My middle dash of my second grouping is the 2P times Q, which is 2PQ. We want to make sure that we write them in alphabetical order. And this last guy over here is my last term in my first grouping squared, which gives me Q squared. Minus, that means this is opposite, so this is plus, and my last term is always positive. So that's how we factor sum and differences of 2 cubes. At this point, you can go ahead and work on the 4 problems, and then now you try right after example 1. We'll go over the answers to these 4 problems tomorrow in class. If you have any questions, make sure you bring them to class with you. We'll go over them before we move on.